Hi guys, welcome back to Vedic Astrology. Today I'm going to be doing this video for the transit of Saturn, and in the transit Saturn is getting in the retrograde in motion from July 13th onwards. Now I promised in the monthly reading for the month of July that I will be recording the transit video for Saturn's retrograde because it's a crucial one, and I wanted to share some perspective with you guys as to how it can be impacting us. Now Saturn, of course, is considered to be a malefic, and thereby when a planet which is retrograded, which is considered to have a very high Cheshtabal, a part that is seen in the Shadbala. Many of you who come to my readings, I share the Shadbala scores as well for each of the planets with you guys. And there you would have noticed that it is a component, it's a part. And depending on the Shadbala score of a planet in your chart, you are able to realize that what sort of an impact, positive or negative, auspicious or inauspicious, can be seen in your life. And thereby, in general considerations, Saturn, which is considered to be a malefic, when he gets retrograded, usually because of that Cheshtabal being high, because now the Shadbala overall being higher than normal, the ability of this malefic planet to deliver results is increased. Now, whether or not Saturn's impact in your chart through the transits retrograde will be positive or negative will highly be dependent on the score, on the strength, on the dignity of Saturn in your natal chart. Now, again, I cannot be giving you general indications on that front. Very crudely speaking, somebody might say that an exalted Saturn in most of the charts, or in the charts where it is a Yoga Karaka planet like that for Libra, is usually delivering good results. But I have noticed that people with exalted Saturn in Libra or in other zodiacs as well, they tend to struggle with their lives, even in their Saturn dashas in Sadesatis. Now, why is that? Because you've got to understand that what is the dignity? Is it direct? Is it retrograde? What is the Shadbala of your planet? How is it positioned? What house, what placement? And based on that, within the particular sign, what kind of points he is getting within Pisces, for example, if he is transiting right now, what sort of points he is getting. And thereby, you will be able to derive a much more comprehensive understanding. However, since it is my fiduciary responsibility to share a generalized perspective which can have an overarching effect, I will be talking during the course of this video to give you a sense that what you should anticipate. But the accurate measure of it will come through if you are able to analyze your natal version as well. I hope, folks, you get a perspective of what I'm trying to say here. And now we should just deep dive to see what sort of a impact you will see with this transit, folks. Now, Pisces, you can watch this video both from a rising as well as moon sign perspective. Of course, if you're watching this from a moon sign perspective, you have to remember that this Saturn is becoming retrograded in your first house on top of your natal moon, and thereby you are entering the first time retrogression in the second phase of Saturn. However, for a ascendant perspective, again, you have to keep that core common point in place that your 10th lord and your 11th lord is now becoming retrograde. So you have to get one thing very clear. This retrogression will be interesting because Rahu is placed in the sign of Aquarius as well. And Saturn is approaching the sign of Rahu. In a way, it is going to be indicating that the kind of hard work that was required in terms of exertion of your body, because Saturn is generally the karaka of hard work, generally the karaka of your karma, and thereby also the result giver too. So when he is coming closer to his karma, his alignment, his efforts are going to be aligned, one, from a 12th house perspective towards bringing losses, expenses to your physical body, drain on expenses on your monetary funds, or investment of some sort. You can see that hard work as investment of some sort as well. And where is that getting invested? It is getting invested in karma of Rahu related aspects. So one of the things that you will realize is that anything related to digital, especially relating to AI transformation in your workplace, in your education, in whatever work you are putting in place today, will start playing a prominent role. In these 4 or 5 months, you will definitely see some big level impact coming in from an AI perspective. And it will touch upon everybody's life, but that is what you should anticipate, Pisces, that it is going to impact on your life by being the source, being the significator, being the karaka of gains through AI. Or you will have to put in some efforts, put in some time and investment to learn in that direction. It's the first bit. The second bit you have to understand here is that he is also the lord of expenses. He will be asking you, he will be testing you, especially from a Sadhisati standpoint, that I know you expect rewards from me, but how much of an effort are you to put? And in retrogression, if he is acting like malefic, that test will be crazy difficult. However, if you have a decently strong natal Saturn, he is going to reward you within this course of retrogression movement itself. He is going to deliver the outcomes which are going to be positive for you. Yes, the test will be difficult. You will have to gauge against your fears, your self belief, your self reliance, whether or not you are curious to get real outcomes, or is it just you are acting, busy. That reality at your workplace, that reality towards your intent to bring perfection, irrespective of the outcome, is going to be tested, Pisces. And you have to be ready for that sort of a test because it is on top of your head. It is the natural position of debilitation for Saturn. Even if you have a exalted Saturn in your natal chart, this basic tendency of Saturn in the first house is going to come into play. He is going to test you with everything, and that test could be difficult. But if you keep putting your hard work, if you keep believing in yourself, if you keep fighting your fears, remember in my Saturn Mahadasha video and Antardasha videos, I talk about it. In most of my Dasha Antardasha videos, I've mentioned that Saturn's period is usually a test. He is like a sadist. He wants to whip you before rewarding you. So you have to be ready in this retrograde motion against that test. Why am I specifically calling out against workplace? Because one, it is about your body, it is about your mind frame, and his aspect is to your 10th house. He is going to bring that difficult test in front of you and gauge on your karmas. And now the aspect of this Saturn in your 10th is also a retrograded one. Given he is acting in that motion, remember why we said that Saturn's retrograded aspect from 5th house, Lagna, or 10th house is difficult because it is all impacting, it is pushing that marriage relationship into the 6th house. I have specified this multiple times. So you have to understand these aspects too, that somewhere you will have to slog yourself for your bosses, for your superiors, for your senior management. This period you will be tested from that perspective. For your clients, if you are running your own startup, you will be grinded by them. But due rewards will also come because ninth house also represents your luck, your fortune, your destiny. Those rewards, that approval is going to come after you putting an extraordinary fight with your efforts. So be prepared with that mindset. It could be your teachers, your gurus, your mentors. They might ask you, they might assign you certain, challenges, challenging tasks in your thesis, in your PhD that you're doing, in whatever competitive examinations you are striving for. They might try to grill you, try to push you in a hard way so that your confidence feels down, but they are just trying to help yourself reflect. So you have to understand that test of Saturn, which can come in that mechanism too. Your relationship with your father will be tested. Your principles will get tested because ninth house denotes that as well. So it's the retrograded aspect which will come into play. And all these factors will essentially be testing your self-belief in your karma, in how you are putting with the full righteousness, your full efforts. Then the aspect of the Saturn is also towards your seventh house. Seventh house denotes your partnerships. There will be times because of your language, because of the kind of spiritual, non-spiritual connect you have, materialistic connect with you have with your partners. It will test you that where do you stand in the test of adversity. And thereby, many a times you will see that irrespective of the connection that you have, say with your spouse, there are periods when that relationship in itself gets strained. Has to go through the test of time, as they say. This is going to be that test of time where you could have a very decent relationship going on as well, but you might come under pressures, and those pressures are related to, say, the excessive amount of work, especially people who are going through sadness. There's an excessive amount of stress with that Saturn sitting on top of your moon. So the relationship, the marriage, the connection could also feel strained. And that is where you will have this caution. You'll have to put in some amount of belief, trust, faith in your partner as well. Take a backseat at some times, but be ready to deliver with full efforts on their expectations. And if you both are Pisces, you and your spouse, actually it's a better situation to be in. It's not double trouble, trust me. Because now there will be some level of understanding also that you guys will deliver or bring to the table, if both of you are watching this video, by the way. But that is why people say that it can be tedious, but it can also be an opportunity. If you are a business person, if you are running something of your own, self-employed, it could be an opportunity for you to pivot. Few minutes back, I was referring to that how AI will become crucial. Some major breakthrough development is bound to happen during this period. And you never know. You might have to pivot your own work, leveraging AI, whatever field of life. You're a student, you realize that the old ways of learning are not going to be holding true. You will have to pivot in terms of aligning to that human loop in the AI story, or technology for that matter. You run your own grocery store, you run your own restaurant, and you want to bring in some level of technology flavor to make it more interesting, enticing for your audience. You might want to run marketing campaign leveraging that. AI based calling for your customers. Imagine. So it can be a beautiful period for you guys, Pisces, to pivot from that perspective as well. But if you're not able to gauge this test of Saturn, and I'm just giving one insight, guys, because I work in the tech industry, that's how my thought process works. So I'm giving you one perspective, but you have to apply that for your life and figure out that what sort of a test can come your way. Whilst you are undergoing that situation, you must remember this is just that period where you have to keep going. And retrograde Saturn, because he has this high Cheshta Bal, even in the worst situation, in the worst placement of your natal Saturn too, it will give you at least some degree of positive outcome if you continue to fight hard, if you continue to face head on that test of Saturn. Remember that bit. Yes, I keep on repeating that natal has a lot of power, but transits also with the right karma, with the right ecosystem at the moment, from a dynamic astrology perspective, does tend to deliver some bit of push, a nudge, and probably that might be needed in whatever circumstances that you are. We don't realize that if we are able to just push a little harder, we are able to sail through. Maybe that is what Saturn in a way is doing for us. So be positive with your mind frame to understand how it is going to pan out. Now, the tricky part is this Saturn is going to be giving an aspect to the third house as well, and it's a retrograded aspect, folks. So he is going to on one side of the spectrum. That is why today I started from the other side of the aspects. Because on one side of the spectrum, this Saturn is going to expect you to succeed in the test that he's throwing at you. But at the same time, he'll withdraw you. Your intent to put that hard work is going to reduce. Your intent to keep engaged. There could be some degree of lethargy. There could be some level of lack of courage, self-belief that also might get induced in you. That, my gosh, probably this is too difficult an exam for me to crack. This is too difficult a deal for me to break into and kill my competition. Or this is very hard, corporate situation for me to sustain my job. Any of those elements could bother you. But you will have to try and find a conquest over this third aspect. It's the most difficult aspect. And given that now Saturn is going to be at a higher malefic form, he can be a little bit troublesome as well. I would want you to keep caution from a health perspective. I think most of you will do well. proactively spending some money in terms of charity, donation, maybe just getting some health checkups done is going to help you, because you are already countering the retrograded impact of that Saturn from Lagna to 12th. Now, this is doesn't mean that in reality the Saturn is going to be moving back, but since he appears to be doing that, and astrology is all about the aspects bit of it, the yogas coming into play, what you will realize is that there is some level of unnecessary loss. My time is getting lost, my energy is getting lost. I'm putting in efforts, they're taking much more time. I was able to finish the task in 8 hours, I'm getting stretched for 10. Please remain patient. You will be rewarded. All right. So I think it's going to be a tough period, Pisces. It's not going to be easy, but at the same time, this same period can be extraordinarily rewarding for you. You will have to get some level of mapping with your natal chart too. I have given you enough pointers for you to think around. And I hope you are able to put that right effort, that right show, and have one hell of a beautiful time in terms of riding that wave of Saturn. All right. If you've enjoyed watching this video, then please smash on that like button, subscribe to the Astrology, and keep watching.